Frequently asked questions about legislative oversight. So first, why is legislative oversight necessary? Well, fundamentally, oversight by the legislature is intended to ensure government accountability and make certain that tax dollars are being spent properly and efficiently, generally by the executive branch of state government, although oversight can go into the judicial branch and local governments for that matter. Has the California Legislature developed any materials for legislative oversight? In fact, they have. 7 years ago, then Assembly Rules Committee Chair Ken Cooley released the 2017 Oversight Handbook and distributed it to his legislative colleagues. So, why did the Assembly create this handbook? Basically, Assemblyman Cooley was of the opinion where he said, "It is quite striking that done well and systematically, oversight can be more impactful than merely passing new laws." Basically, as an elected branch of government, oversight allows the legislature to try and have the executive branch reflect the state's priorities with legislative input. What's the purpose of these assembly materials? Well, the Legislative Oversight Handbook provides a toolkit and offers some useful advice and guidance to support legislative committees as they prepare and conduct oversight activities. Now, how does the Assembly Handbook describe oversight? According to the handbook, it says that oversight is broadly defined as reviewing, monitoring, and supervising the implementation of public policy. What does the Assembly Handbook describe as the purpose of insight? They say it's intended that these oversight hearings be used to create a so-called check and balance to the executive branch of state government and its over 200 rulemaking agencies, departments, boards, commissions, bureaus that carry out public policy in the state. It also allows the legislative branch of state government to ensure that these executive branch agencies and departments are implementing the laws as they were intended to be by the legislature. So, how can legislative oversight be conducted? As might be expected, legislative oversight can take several forms, whether they begin with private communications, public hearings, the budget process, actual legislation. There are many different forms in which it can be conducted. Are there other state agencies that conduct oversight? Yes, the legislature also has the Bureau of State Audits and the state auditor, who is selected by the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, known by its acronym JLAC. And the purpose of the auditor's office is to conduct audits and investigations into not only the executive branch of state government, but the third branch as well as local governments. Now, what are the types of legislative oversight hearings? There are essentially two types of oversight hearings that the legislature regularly conducts. One that is informational in nature, while the other is investigatory in its approach. So, what's an informational hearing? This type of hearing allows legislators to learn about a particular topic or perhaps a state agency or department. And these types of hearings also educate legislators, staff, members of the public who may listen to the hearing on television or the internet or hear it in person. And these usually occur when the legislature wants to learn more about the particular subject matter that is the subject of that informational hearing. Now, what about an investigational hearing? Well, this type of hearing is more of a fact-finding effort, if you will, and it's conducted obviously by the legislature, and its intent is to find out about a particular matter, perhaps an event or a problem that was previously taking place. So this type of a hearing is a traditional oversight hearing where the legislature needs to understand what might have transpired. For example, the legislature has held some investigational hearings related to IT procurement in the state, some projects that say went over budget or their timeline. And it's an effort to appreciate, for example, why the procurement was not successful and whether any law changes are required to ensure, for example, that that particular situation doesn't occur again. Now, how can oversight be conducted? Well, former Assemblyman Cooley said that to conduct a successful oversight hearing in either case requires a commitment to research. And as a result, the handbook that he and his staff developed set forth ways in which the legislature can successfully carry out these types of oversight hearings. So, finally, what are the contents of the handbook? Well, it contains the following contents that I think are quite valuable to legislators and staff, and of course, legislative committees. After an introduction, it has a definition of legislative oversight, the nuts and bolts of oversight, participants, growing institutional capacity, legislative rules governing oversight hearings, oversight coordination and processes, the Office of Legislative Counsel, collaboration for hearing preparation, oversight quotes, legal issues that are pertinent to investigative hearings, quick references on California statutory and other laws, FAQ sheet on rules, statutes, and case law governing oversight hearings, um, committee rules containing oversight or investigation provisions, preparation of briefing books for these hearings, and of course, the Assembly's subpoena power.